not behind Richard.
Wow.
Hello, everybody.
That was a fun little intro.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I made that. I know Julian's like, wow, that looks really professional. I'm like,
Yeah.
I did that. I love it. Hello, everybody. We are happy that you are here with us.
Yeah.
Yes, Julian is back. Look, and they're so excited that Fatbird and Jeffrey are here. We have never had either one of them on the show, so this will be fun. And Julian is back after his 2-week hiatus. So I am going to go ahead and let Jeffrey, who is Real Nifty Vintage, and Mary Beth and Laura introduce themselves, and then we will get started. Richard and Mark both are in the chat dropping everybody's links. So if you guys aren't subscribed to them, they'll be dropping the links to their channels all night so you can find them. Yes. Listen, now they're picking, look, they're picking on Julian and me. So he's definitely like a part of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Since they're picking on him. All right, Jeffrey, I'm going to give you the big screen and let you introduce yourself to everybody. And then I will let the ladies go. Here you go.
Okay. Well, I am Jeffrey with Real Nifty Vintage, and I'm a vintage reseller. I do a lot of hard goods, 50s, 60s, 70s, 20s, 30s, all kinds. I've got lots behind me, but I mostly sell on YouTube actually now. So I've done reselling on Etsy, and I've sold on eBay. I even tried selling on my own website, and now I sell direct to consumer through YouTube. So that's what I do. I have a store here that sometimes I open up. I've opened it up twice now, but it's mostly just to warehouse my stuff so that I can get it out of the house, which is really awesome. But yeah, that's what I do.
All right, ladies.
Okay, so I'm Mary Beth. I'm Laura. And we are Fatbird Finds, and we are part-time resellers. So Laura and I both have full-time jobs. So we do it part-time, and Laura grew up in the biz, so to speak, and I'm kind of new to vintage and antiques.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah, so we do a Friday night show called Flippin' and Sippin'. That's at 9 p.m. Central. We try to put out weekly content. We do sell on eBay, although we don't have very many listings, and we do sell on Friday nights.
Yes. Goodness. Compared to Kat, we have no listings on eBay.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jeffrey, when did you transition to like mostly going like doing via YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's difficult to say, actually. I know Misty was the forerunner in that one, especially in the vintage community. I mean, she kind of started that whole thing. And I saw that, wow, she's selling direct to people without any fees. And I started noticing most of my eBay sales and definitely Etsy were with subscribers. And I'm like, why am I paying fees whenever I'm selling it to people I'm recommending? And so
That makes sense.
I was like, that's kind of dumb. So then I started selling. I don't know. It's probably been a year and a half. Does that sound about right, Fatbirds?
I think that's accurate. Because you started
for a while.
Yeah.
You started just right after really we got going. You weren't selling in live sales when we started, which was 2 years ago, but just shortly after that. So
okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, and it's been really successful, and I kind of prefer it because it's real. I don't know. It's an interactive experience. It's not so I don't know, boring.
Taking pictures and well, like for me, so you guys do almost all vintage, and for me, I can't source enough to find only vintage. That's my, I think, biggest issue is that I can't find enough in any one niche to just do one thing. So my stuff's so random. It would be oh, here's this it's so random that it wouldn't appeal to one audience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does.
I and kind of by design, since I am so vintage oriented with a certain aesthetic, I mean, that tends to be my subscriber base. And so I'm kind of niching down directly that way. So it's sort of I'm pushing the cart before whatever they say, I'm kind of directing how I want it to go rather than have just a wide audience of people. But
right.
Yeah, I like the
your
vintage.
stuff's tailored to your audience and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah, but I really enjoy what I'm buying. So that's like what's really motivating to it all. It's not like I'm, just buying what they want. I'm buying what I like too. So it works out well.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, are you going like, and I haven't watched a ton of your stuff. So are you like the same as like me, like thrifts and auctions and stuff as far as your sourcing?
Yeah, for instance, today's video was an estate sale, and they're kind of hard to find right now, especially with everything going on, but they're a really popular place that I like to go to estate sales. Auctions, I do. Those have been kind of few and far between around here as well. They've mostly moved online, and I don't like that. I like the excitement of the in-person and like bidding and seeing things and kind of getting in, and you can get deals that way too if people aren't paying attention. But online, it's like everyone's little detectives, and you're like trying to like blow the picture off, and like you're like analyzing every last cent. So I don't know, but definitely estate sales, yard sales, rummage sales. Where else?
So basically the same. I just don't run into
antique malls.
That much vintage. I wish I did. I don't, but I get a lot of it. Allison wants to know how I'm feeling. I'm still not at 100%. I don't want to lie to you guys. But I feel like it's more allergies at this point than the cold. Like I don't have like the I feel crappy kind of thing. I'm just sneezing a lot. So, and Florida is Florida, and it's been like, it's in the 40s. Like tonight it's almost getting like to 41. And then during the day it's 80. Like Florida doesn't know what it's doing, which doesn't help when you're not feeling exactly great. And yeah, so that's kicking my butt as well. But I'm feeling a lot better. And I am taking like way more than you should of vitamin C, because Brad and Dalton didn't get sick and they take vitamin C every day. So now I'm trying to catch up, and I'm taking like triple doses of You can't overdose on vitamins, right? So I'm just going to take a bunch extra.
If they're water-based, right? If you don't, because you can just...
Yeah. I'll just pee it out. Duncan asks this every show. He wants to know if we could each give eBay selling tips, or you could do selling tips too that you think might apply across like different selling types for new sellers.
Well, I could give a cop-out answer and say I wrote a book on it, so you could check out the book.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
It's a broad ranging thing. It's kind of touches in just reselling in general, but it's up on Amazon. eBay tips. Well, I would say start small. Don't overinvest in what you're buying. Don't go gung-ho thinking, oh, I saw this on so-and-so. The crazy lamp lady did it. Jeffrey did it. All these. We have different markets and we have different cost points. And, when I started, I was buying things for a quarter, 50 cents. Like the cheapest you can do is best. And feel your way into the business. Get a feel for what actually works, what you like buying, and what you find sells. You can do that slowly. But I would say it's not a business you just want to jump in full. Like most people start out part-time with it for sure. So yeah, feel your way into it. Don't get too overzealous on the whole thing, or think that, you're just going to watch a few videos online and replicate it, because it's probably not going to work. So that's, I think, my biggest tip.
I would agree with everything Jeffrey just said. And I would say, don't look at those listings on eBay. Definitely sort and make sure you're seeing what things are actually selling for, because you can get super excited when you see that something's listed for $300, but then, dive down a little bit in there and see that it's really only selling for $50. So make sure you do look at those sold comps. That's very important.
Yes.
Yep. Everything they said. And I'm a big fan of starting free, like stuff around your house that you don't use that has value. And that really just gets you in there like a very little, overhead. Start anything around. You got an old VCR or something like that. You got your VHSs that are still sealed. Throw them up on eBay. So it kind of gives you a little bit, and how to ship things and stuff, and you don't have a lot of overhead.
Yes, I agree with that. And it's really important what Jeffrey said. Like, don't look at us and think that you can just automatically do that. Even like their live sales, both of them below me, they've been doing it a long time. They built up their audience. So you can't go like start a YouTube and start live sales and automatically the people will come. And like my numbers you see is a result of 2 years of listing 20 to 30 items a day for 2 years to get to where I'm at. So if you come in and just start, you're not going to see those numbers. So you have to be really patient and look at the overall picture. So look, like I have 3,400 items listed. If you have 300, don't expect that you're going to make the kind of money I'm making because you don't have that many listed. You have to build up to it. So that's a great point to don't think you're just going to start and it's going to happen. And you definitely have to build up. Jeffrey, I don't know if you saw that in the chat or not. Jackie wanted to know what your Etsy shop is called.
Well, I don't actively list vintage on there anymore because Etsy started getting ridiculous with their fees. They started doing, I mean, they always had 5%, but then they did this advertising thing where if someone Googles your item and they click on the listing, then they charge, I think, was it 12% or something?
They're charging extra?
Yeah, they're charging extra. It's kind of like on-demand advertising. So if somebody clicks on your item from Google and they get to it on, and then they subsequently buy that same item, or actually any item, it's actually any item in your store, you'll be charged 12%. I believe it's 12%, up to 15% if you're not part of some other group that they have, additionally to their fees. And the sad part is, I mean, a lot of people just Google my name on Google, so that they were just clicking those listings anyway. And I was directing a lot of those. So that's where I was like, this is dumb. Why am I paying 12% for a lot of these when I don't need to? But I started selling shipping tape. So I have custom shipping tape that I don't have any with me. Oh, well, here's a Christmas one. So I designed this and I
oh, cool.
I can't even get it on. So I have this on Etsy because it's considered handmade, though I don't make it myself, but I designed it myself. So it's like this little, it's a Russian Santa Claus. And then like little starbursts and yeah, so it's mid-century. I have another one that's like 70s, like swung vases and starbursts.
So cute.
Yeah, so those things are on Etsy, but it's just Real Nifty Vintage. That's what it's under there.
Are they print on demand? Do you do them print on demand? And then
No.
they send them to them? Or you have them there?
I bought like 8 cases of them because I needed to get a price break. So I mean, I spent well over $1,000, $1,000 plus. It's an investment and it's just sort of a pet project because I wanted to try it out. So and
it sounds fun.
They're like $10 a roll, 55 yards per roll.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yes. So long story short, I don't sell on Etsy, really.
Yes. No, I have seen, so one should just start selling live and wait for the channel to grow. No, the other way. Yes, it's definitely the other way around. I will tell you guys too, the same with like my thrift boxes and my reseller boxes that I'm doing. I don't know if you guys have watched my videos lately, but I have such a death pile. I quit sourcing for myself. And now everything in my thrift videos, I put in a box and I sell it to my subscribers and they sell out in seconds. And I wish I could thrift more. Everybody wants me to have more, but like that took a long time. And I don't know if Julian remembers, like I tried reseller boxes a year ago and they would sit there. They would sit there and sit there. And now anything I put up sells in seconds. So your audience and building it up is really important part of the equation when it comes to that. And I think a lot of people, especially with like eBay and auctions, like seeing Jocelyn starter auctions at $4, if you don't have 200,000 followers, don't do that. And I see people doing that and it costs them money. Krause House Sift and Thrift says that sales have really slowed down for me. Has that happened to any of us? And what do we attribute it to?
Okay, well, I feel like Fat Birds isn't getting a chance to answer some of these. Am I wrong? Well, maybe they don't so much apply, but hopefully they can answer this next one. So because I don't sell on large platforms, I don't really see that. But whenever I did sell, I do know that there is seasonal flows to everything. We're entering in Q4, so we should be getting stronger now. November should be extra strong, even into December. I think you're going to fall flat again mid-January to February, unfortunately. But that's just the cycle. That's the cycle of shopping and how it goes. But I will say, with the way that we've structured our live sales and stuff, I don't so much see that for our things. But that's what I would attribute it to. What about you, Fatbirds?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like our sales have actually picked up a little bit here lately.
Yeah, we are in kind of a unique position because we're part-time. We can pretty much sell as much as we can manage to pack and ship. So
right, because
the live sales are super popular. They haven't really slowed down much, if at all. And we have just really built up this community of people that just enjoy it. They want to shop. There's always plenty of buyers. And so now eBay is slow for us, but it's because we're not listing. Right. I mean, I can't really speak to eBay being slow because we aren't really listing. So
we really only list on eBay things that, we think that we're going to get a really large amount of money for, or maybe they're not vintage and we're putting them on there because they're not pointed toward our YouTube target audience. But what Laura said about starting small and how we can sell as much as we want to. We don't though, because we just kind of sell what we're able to sell in a week. And I think that that's a really good tip for somebody starting out is to start small.
Well, what we're able to pack.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
What we're able to ship.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. So that would just be a really good tip for somebody starting out is, don't start out selling 80 items a week if you don't think you've got the time and the resources and everything to ship those items. So that would be my advice is to start small.
Yeah, but I mean we're in a really great situation just because the live sales are not slow at all.
Yeah. Do you guys, both of you, do you do the bidding or offer up, or do you just do a set price and sell it?
I've done all kinds of things because it's sort of an evolution. That's business though. You're always just trying something new to see what works and what sticks. Right now I do mostly all offer ups. So but I'm starting it more so at a price that I'm comfortable with because sometimes, it takes too long if you're starting things too low. I know there's certain advantages of starting things a little bit lower because it gets more people into the game. But at the same time, it extends things a little bit too long. And it also will sometimes bite you in the butt if you don't have the right people there. So I'm starting to now start things for a better price of what I would actually be okay with if it just sold that low. But yeah, I did used to do straight bids. The problem with the straight amounts is, well, like anything, there's always going to be factions of people saying, I don't like it this way. I don't like it this way. But the way where there was just oh, my internet's too slow. So to combat the internet slow, they were like, well, why don't you start counting down? So we've been through so many different aspects, but I kind of like doing best offer because it gives people more of a chance to actually participate and get it if their internet is way too slow.
Yeah, I agree with that. We started out not doing offer ups at all, and but now then we've added them in. We do some each way because it got to be where we want people to have a good time. Part of our thing, so to speak, is the entertainment of it. So it's fun. It's an experience. The sale is not just buying something, it's an experience and it's fun. And people were not having as much fun because there were so many, it was so popular, that you had, 10 people, 12 people wanting to buy an item and somebody keeps getting the item each time because their internet is the fastest.
And we got a lot of emails from a lot of viewers saying, I really want to participate in your sales, but with my internet, I just don't feel like I can. And so we just kind of, tilted our structure, our perspective on that just a little bit, and now we do a mixture of both.
We just wanted to be super careful. We don't ever want it to appear like, anybody's trying to take advantage of someone with, out of sight offer ups or something like that. So we've just started out slow and just to be careful. But I mean, it is pretty similar to eBay. Something is worth what somebody wants to pay for it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Julian, on the eBay front, has it slowed down?
Oh, tremendously. Had a decent weekend, and then it tanked yesterday, and today's like the lowest I've been in a year and a half. But it attributes to me not listing for 5 days, hands down. I went sourcing a whole bunch, thrift days, yard sales. I had backed up camera data that I needed to get YouTube videos out for 4 days straight. I have got a ton of YouTube videos coming out. So it's that's why mine sales have dropped. Tomorrow I'm going to do probably 50 listings, and they'll be back up to normal on Thursday.
Yeah, and mine have been slower, but not horrible. I've seen a lot of people saying they're really bad. Mm-hmm. And I actually got sent a couple of articles today attributing it to the new pay-per-click, and that the people that are paying per click are kind of rising to the top and taking those searches away, organic searches from people. And mine, I'm at $200 today. My average is $250. So that's not, that's not horrible. And I haven't been listing a lot either. And I talked about this on my video yesterday. And there's always the pay-per-click. Could it be that, if they're paying more, they're bidding for the top spots? It could be, but I still think kind of the bottom line is if you have something that people want, they're going to buy it. And not getting I don't get a lot of there's a lot of it available. I try and find more the one-offs that there might be 2 or 5 available, not hundreds. So just it's going to be up and down. And I talked about Brad always, I'm that's the only time I'm really negative. I'm why are sales? I freak out, and then they're right back the next day. And he's I told every time. He's I told you, and I just need to calm down. So the rest of you too, there will be slow weeks. There are going to be slow months. It should not be happening in Q4, but it does. And that's where too, cross posting to the other platforms. I've been doing 1 live sale a month, and I give them kudos on the live sales because I hate the invoicing and dealing with that. And I don't like that part. But I've been doing the 1 a month with Yvonne, and that's kind of getting my feet wet on that. Richard wants to know how your gnome is, Julian.
My gnome is still here at the house, so it's not good. I want to sell it and send it to somebody. It's actually
send
right
it
there.
Away.
There it is, right there. There's the gnome.
Look, we can do a live sale right now. No. I mean, we could.
That gnome is that thing's expensive. Hopefully, it might be worth $50. I don't know if you watch my video.
I see Jeffrey answered in the chat, so I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah. It's a picture of me with a magnifying glass on the cover.
I saw that. I was like, what? Kenny Wilson says it's hard on buying. And this is something, and I'm going to keep reading this, that I have gotten, it takes time. I still have a hard time spending a lot on 1 item, even though the returns are more. I got into the mindset I could buy 5 items for that. But are you going to make $100 or $200 or $300 on 1 item? The answer is probably no. I've gotten I'll spend $300 on an item if I'm going to sell it for $1,000. And that's nice when just 1 item makes you that big profit, but it's definitely not something you start with. I wasn't comfortable doing that until 2 years in. I built up a bankroll, almost like gambling. And I have the money for this $1,000 item that might sit for a year, and I invested $200 into it. But the days those things sell are fabulous, because just a 1 thing, I sold a piano baby this morning for $100 and I only paid $3.
Nice.
Now it took like 8 months for her to sell, but I found her at Goodwill, and I started the day off with $100 sales. So I only have one item to ship out right now, but I'm at $200 in sales today, which is nice. So that's when those like big sales help.
You know, it's also nice just in like from a amount of work standpoint, it's easier to ship one thing than it is 5. So
Right.
that's another way to look at it. But if you have, that's all I would add.
Yeah, for sure. The upcycled shed, best tip, and I guess we could kind of expand this to like gaining followers, period. What, like, I think that would be better. So what would be tips for gaining followers? I think across all media.
Well, I mean, eBay is difficult because there's not a lot of placement for personal, the side of things. I would say that's where so anyway, I would think on YouTube, you need to just be genuine. You need to be yourself. You need to enjoy what you're doing. That's going to translate over the camera, and people will see that, and then they'll be excited because, you have that camaraderie about it. It's like, your shared interest, and it's just a fun time. I don't know. Yeah, just consistency. You've got to be consistent with what you do. You can't kind of go after it halfway. So yeah, I would say that.
Well, the reason that YouTube was an idea for us was because I wanted to start selling on eBay. And of course, I checked out YouTube videos all about the same time. And I was like, well, that, Jocelyn's driving business to her eBay channel with YouTube videos. What a great idea. I could do that. And it's just funny because now then with the live sales and stuff, it's just, we're more focused on YouTube than we are the eBay part. But I was telling Mary Beth, I was like, Mary Beth, look what's happening. Now our sales from eBay, as small though they might be, are like viewers now.
Yeah.
So
we'll get messages on eBay that are like, hey, I'm a viewer. I just wanted to let you know I like your channel. I'm interested in something about this item. So it's finally starting to pay off, the YouTube trying to get followers on eBay. But, it's taken a while. So I think patience is a good tip as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those are good. I'm a big fan of when you're starting out. I just flood with a whole bunch of good, genuine content. Like if you're only doing like maybe like one every 2 weeks, that's gonna be kind of hard to grow in the beginning. Like we were doing. Kat does one a day. Crazy Lamp Lady does one a day. So that's very difficult to do. But I think consistency is very important because even somehow like you'll put out a YouTube video and it doesn't catch, but the same exact video a week later or a week before at the exact, you know what I'm saying? So consistency, I think, is very key to hit whatever YouTube pushes out. And then to get eBay followers, I think that's kind of difficult. I don't know how you would push that out. There's no way to really, I don't know.
Yeah, I think my eBay followers come from my YouTube. I think that's kind of, but I will tell you, like, I don't think that my followers on eBay make a difference in my sales because I don't get a ton of viewer sales. That's why I was saying, like, I source such a wide variety of stuff. I'm not targeting any one audience because I have like such a variety. I get maybe one viewer sale a week. I don't get a lot because I source so much different stuff. I think people like following me on eBay are just kind of wanting to see what I'm finding and what I'm selling. I don't think they're buying from me. So I don't know that followers necessarily equate to sales like you might think they would. Unless if you were Jeffrey on eBay selling all of this vintage, like he said, like 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, and the buyers knew Jeffrey was only putting that stuff up, then they might follow him. Yeah. And in that case, that probably would generate sales. So if you're doing like only the same thing, I would just say consistently offering and listing the same kind of thing might get you followers that would actually get you sales from it. But I have I have like 1,500, maybe 2,000 followers on eBay, and it definitely does not equate to sales for me.
I would, yeah, and I would probably add that the whole followers thing on eBay is kind of irrelevant. I mean, if you're as long as you're putting up decent stuff, you're gonna sell. You're selling to a worldwide audience, and honestly, a lot of people don't. A lot of those final buyers are not going to care enough to follow you after their purchase. They're just not. It's like one-offs. They're like, oh, I wanted that for Aunt so and so or my uncle or whatever. So you're kind of just doing one after another, one-off items, and
yeah. I was just going to say, I think that we can set up a really good example here of the YouTube consistency tip for everyone. We're not able to do that kind of content every day, just from our 9-to-5 job perspective, right? So in 2 years, Jeffrey, how many followers did you have 2 years ago, do you think? I think when I started watching you, it was like 5,000 maybe.
Was it? Yeah, I mean, it's probably between 5 and 10.
So in the time that we've been on, we're not quite at 5,000, right, altogether. And in that same time, you know, Jeffrey, I've seen Jeffrey add maybe 15 or more thousand to where he was.
Probably
more than that. So that's just a testament to the everyday consistency. So if you're able to do that, that's definitely what you should do.
Yeah, it is definitely consistency. And I was doing 7 days a week at one point, but I started to realize that it's just not worth it. That's a slippery slope, because then you start looking at it like, oh, but that's so and so amount of dollars that I'm missing if I don't do that. But there's an opportunity cost, your life. And it's like, how much stress do you want? What are you trying to pay for here? Just, you know, a fat bank account, or do you want a nice livelihood that you're actually not stressed out all the time? So that's to be considered.
I want to say April asked for the link to the tape, and somebody else asked for something. I just made both of you guys moderators. So if you want to drop links to anything you want, you are now moderators in the chat.
It's just realniftyvintage.com. And I'm putting that in right now.
Okay, Aunt B, I'm going to read this question while Jeffrey's putting in the link. They got a message from a buyer, and she wants to know what she would do, or what we think she should do. I'd like to buy your item, but the shipping cost is too expensive for me. Would you be able to use my own prepaid shipping label? I believe it would be cheaper.
Well, is this a question I'm supposed to answer, or we're supposed to answer?
I mean, if you had a buyer telling you, even on your sales, like that they didn't want to pay your shipping and they'd send you a label, what would you tell them?
I would just tell the truth. I mean, I don't add anything to shipping. We don't add anything to shipping.
Well, yeah, I think I would see I would maybe confer what's the shipping, what does it actually end up costing? I would double check to see if that's true. If it's true, I don't know if I would have a problem with using their label, but I would be wondering why I couldn't get it as cheap as them, first of all. And if that's the case, I don't know. That sounds kind of like it's not true.
Yeah, that seems sketchy to me. I'm kind of skeptical, so I would just be like, what are you really doing? Unless it was somebody who I knew, unless it was a buyer that I had dealt with before.
But it's like, I don't know what shipping service they'd be using. I primarily use USPS, and for smalls, like 12/8, stuff like that, they're pretty good. I mean, FedEx or UPS, they have different, with pirate ship now, I mean, you can kind of tell, but I don't know. I mean, if it's legit, fine. But if it's I don't know. You should probably check into that and see if it's really cheaper. Maybe you can find another way to ship if it's really cheaper.
The only thing I would do is that I would just double check. I've had before where I put 8 pounds and it's supposed to be 8 ounces. So I would just double check real quick my listing. If my listing's correct, I'm saying no. I'm saying, sorry, that's the shipping. If it's been sitting, I'll give you a discount on the product for, something like that. I'll shoot you an offer. I've done that before. But I'm not using nobody's label. No. Now you can.
I have used someone's label, I will say. And I will tell you guys the situation for me. So first, if I just got the message that shipping was too expensive, I tell them exactly what Mary Beth and Laura did, that I don't charge extra for shipping. I don't make a profit on it. This is exactly what I charge. The one time I used somebody else's label was actually for Ethan Allen chairs. and I was going to use Freight, and they had a FedEx business account, and I brought Ethan Allen chairs into a FedEx store and set them on the counter and left them, and they used their label and their account to pay for FedEx to package these chairs that I didn't have boxes, and I sure didn't have enough fill material for 2 dining room chairs. And I set them, I got good feedback, and like they called the FedEx store for me, and the guy knew. So I'm like, they're gonna look at me crazy. I'm walking in with like these 2 dining room chairs into, it was like in town where I work, at a college town. Here I come with dining room chairs into FedEx. And that is where they did. The only thing is just that in that situation, it was way cheaper because I was going to use a freight service. So it was cheaper for them to do that. But I still feel like they probably paid a lot to have FedEx box them up. But freight is really expensive for somebody to hand deliver your furniture. So if that was the case, I would say yes. But if it's just a regular item, like they were saying, like a number 7, 12 by 12 by 8 box, I feel like something might be off. I agree. Rebecca Davidson sent a $2 super sticker. So I'm going to give her a dolphin. Super chat. Thank you.
That's ridiculous.
I love that.
I love my dolphins. Herky Basil. And I guess you guys can answer this for when you did sell on eBay if you aren't anymore. Do you pass the eBay shipping discount on to the buyer?
Well, it's a similar question to what we still do. I use Pirate Ship, and Pirate Ship has discounted rates. And so where on Pirate Ship, it'll be like $17. That's like the regular rate. And then for you, 11 something or whatever. And that's what I charge. So I charge what I'm paid, or what I charge, or I charge what I pay for the shipping. So yes, because I don't know. Why wouldn't I? I don't know. I do.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same here. Shipping is so expensive. I mean, if shipping wasn't so much, maybe you might think about doing that, making a little on the shipping by charging a retail shipping rate, but it's just so expensive. I can't do it.
No, not if it's like a couple bucks here and there, because I just bought new boxes for my 8x6x4s, and they just went up in price because I never spent that much in a box before. Cause I actually went back in my records and looked, and I was like, because I buy like 200 at a time, and I was like, whoa, where did this come from? So that's going to cover like my shipping supplies, especially if I'm using like not USPS stuff, like free stuff, my bubble wrap, everything like that. If it's large quantities of money, and then I'll definitely, send them whatever the difference is. If it's like $10, I send them like 8 just to cover that other $2 in shipping. Because some of the boxes I use for my golf bags cost me like $5 a piece. So I always have that built into the price also. But also, it's, my discount on there because I'm top rated is a little bit and helps out. So that would be yes and no. It depends.
Yeah, and eBay takes 10%. Don't forget, eBay charges you a fee on shipping. So I do not pass on the eBay the discount because they are charging 10% on it, and I think we get like 22%. So 10% of it's gone to fees. You're getting charged it. And then like Julian said, my boxes, my bubble wrap. Now on the live sales that I do, I charge them exactly what Pirate Ship charges when it's like direct to viewers. But on eBay, when I'm going to get charged a fee on the shipping charge, and then I've got to pay for bubble wrap and boxes and things like that, I don't. But if there's a big difference, like Julian was saying, like there's a $20 difference or something ridiculous, I would refund the buyer minus the fees. I figure out like what's the fees and here's the difference and give that back. That doesn't happen often. That's really on like really big items where shipping's really expensive.
I wanted to say I also on the first class items I do the same thing. I forgot because I buy like 100 boxes at a time. They're like 40 cents each or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that's not a lot, 40 cents, but it kind of is whenever you're spending.
It adds up.
So For the first class items, I would charge like $6 instead of the $3.50 or $4.50 or whatever it ends up being, really.
To cover like the little bit of, and that makes sense because you got to figure your supplies into it if you're not using free boxes. Do you guys think it hurts sales on eBay if you have no returns?
So when I used to sell on Etsy, they were pushing very hard on like the easiest thing for the buyer. And from doing some research, and also as a buyer, because I buy stuff, if I'm happy with the products, I'm not going to return it. So I did some hard thinking on that, and eventually I started allowing returns on my Etsy. And I really didn't notice anything. Now, I know Etsy and eBay are two different cultures of people, and there's a lot more things going on eBay, but I think that it does hurt the bottom line because it is a friction point to the sale. Some people are going to get worried. They're going to be like, well, what if something goes wrong? Something probably won't go wrong, but they might look elsewhere anyway. It's a friction point. So in sales techniques and things like that, you want to minimize how much processing goes through the buyer, whether it's price increases, if the shipping ends up being a little higher than they were anticipating. So all these things, I think, do affect the bottom line of the sale.
I don't think we can answer this question because we do have returns as an option on our sales. And we've only had one item be returned, I think.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, it doesn't really come up. Like, you can say we offer returns, but that helps because people can do it hassle-free. They don't have to worry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it would hurt. Also, I think it is I like the friction point thing. I never actually thought of it that way. That they have to process more. Like, whoa, no returns. That's crazy. But on eBay,
I can't set this back.
I can't send this back if I don't like it. What's up with that? But on eBay, they can get you anyway, just with a not a subscribed thing. So really, I have it just because I guess it would be easier for them to say, oh, if I don't like it, I can send it back, no problem, for free. But I don't get this month has actually been my most returns I've had too. Not in November, in October.
Well, that's a good point about eBay because they don't even care. Like they're gonna
not as described.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so it does nothing. It actually hurts
eBay will force them.
Yeah.
So I think on eBay, you might as well turn it on because in the end, eBay is going to force it. So like Jeffrey's saying, that's going to make it more appealing to the buyer. And free returns is a search option on eBay. And I'm sure there are buyers that they're going to check that box and make sure if something happens. I think one or two return. I have one return open right now. And you guys know I sell over, 100 items a week. So my return is like 2%. And if you're a top rated seller, you get a 10% discount on your fees for offering free 30-day returns on eBay. So that's incentive for me. And like, I talked so much last week about not getting returns on clothes. My return this week is the dress that doesn't fit. But it is what it is. And also look at with your free returns, if it's a lower cost item, a lot of times I just refund them and tell them to keep it or throw it away because it's not worth paying the return shipping and all of that stuff. So typically, I think I actually set it up on eBay. If it's under $10, I told eBay just give them their money back. I don't want the item back. Because when shipping's like $5, the item's 10, like just give them their money back. So yeah, I think it would hurt you because I think there are gonna be, it's hard because all of us are sellers, so we think like sellers, but you have to think like a buyer, that's not a seller. And free returns and fast shipping is another thing, guys. I will tell you, I search and I will click fast shipping as one of the options because I want my stuff fast. Road tripper, thrifter, flipper. I got this name right after like a few times last week. What is pay-per-click? eBay has started. So with eBay's promoted listings, you only pay the percent if it sells promoted. Pay-per-click, you are paying every time somebody clicks on your item, whether they buy it or not. So The only way I could see myself ever using this was if I had 500 of something that I was going to sell multiples of. I think pay-per-click for your average seller is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. I think you're going to lose money, but I think so. People are essentially paying for the top slot in a search. They're going to come up before you, whether you're promoted or not, because eBay wants people to click because they're going to get paid every time somebody clicks on that listing. And it just went live like a month ago. They just started it. JGB, yes. So JGB said the live sales, I had a couple that weren't paid for. I did. And actually one of them came in my live Friday night and she has paid me. So now I only have one. And she, it turns out, emailed to the wrong email address. So it was just like a misunderstanding. But I do still have one sitting here. So I guess to ask you guys, how often does that happen to you that do live sales regular, that you get people that don't pay?
Okay, in a month, I'll have to go by the month. So I have about I have been doing about 4 live sales a month, and we sell about 50 things each time. So 200 items, and I would say maybe 2 of those are just, we don't ever really figure out. It could be less than that. Sometimes we have a great stretch where everybody's, because you have a lot of the same buyers and you recognize people. And if you see somebody new, and I know that it just has to, that comes with time and experience doing it. You're like, I don't think you've been here before. Make sure you send me an email. So you just have to make sure they know. I think a lot of it comes down to people forget, or it's a typo. But yeah, I wouldn't let that stand in the way of it, because well over 99% of the time things go great.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's rare for us to not get paid for something.
Very rare. Now, this is where on Instagram we're in like a little resellers group, and
oh, the Instagram thing. I'm in that. I'm like, I never thought I would be part of a live sale Instagram chat, and here I am.
Well, it's very handy, and you can speak to that too, then, Kat. But there's not a lot of chit chat that goes on. That's not what it's for. It's for like, do you have this person's address or something like that? Or I can't find this person they didn't email me. And I will say that just one time we had someone do an offer recently, and it was kind of a high offer up ending bid, and one of the resellers said, "Hey, just a tip for you. That person sometimes doesn't pay, or, sometimes doesn't email and ghost you. So
make sure you get the backup person."
Yeah. So the minute that I saw that name, and the minute that I figured out that they weren't going to pay, I just went to the next person and sold it. So.
Yeah. And that, like, I actually had somebody's address for them in the Instagram chat. I was like, oh, look, I actually have info to share with people. Yeah, so that helps. Dave, my good friend, the Midwest Picker. So Dave and I started our channels at the same time. We were like neck and neck for 1,000 subscribers at the same time. And Dave bought a new house this year and had to move his everything. His YouTube, his eBay, his everything. He just listed his first item since February. So Dave, congrats on being back in the house, and hopefully we will see you around a little bit more. Yay. Scratching Florida Lotto for pet rescues. To me, I've been to Chiefland Flea Market once. It's been 6 years. Is it worth my hour drive to source there or save the gas? I will tell you right now, I would say it's worth it, because it's a snowbird flea market, and it is now November. And all of the snowbirds are down here. And I drove by there last weekend, and it was packed. It was packed. I have not been myself. I actually might go this coming weekend. But it's a very seasonal flea market. And when the snowbirds come down, they bring some nice stuff. So you have to remember where we're at. So I would say November, December, January, that yes, it's worth it. It's full of snowbirds, and some of them lock their stuff up there at the flea market for the 6 months or whatever that they're gone. So yeah, I would say it's worth an hour drive now, only because the snowbirds are back. Let's see. Yeah, Amy's saying it's all gambling, and a lot, like Jeffrey was saying, he hates the online auctions. I love them because of that, because I'm that person nitpicking that picture when most people don't want to. They're going to just scroll and be like, there's crap there. And I'm like, oh no, I'm the zooming in and like, I see a $50 item in that dollar box lot.
Yeah, but there's more of you around here. There's a lot more of you around here, though. That's why I don't like them, because
where you're at. Yeah, see, there's not here. There's not here. I'm creating more of it. I will tell you, my favorite auction, I haven't been able to win anything in months. And I did my high bid tutorial. So that's kind of a downfall of us teaching. It creates smarter buyers for reselling. So it does. I don't think it's horrible. I can still find stuff, but I have noticed, like, yeah, some stuff is going higher, but I like gambling. I've said this before, like I can't, I have to go with what I'm willing to lose. I love casinos and I love gambling. I love them. So buying a box lot and like not being able, like, it's the same thing, but I probably have a better chance making money on a box lot than going to the casino. Reality. Carol has a double question. She says, approximately how many hours a week do you actually put into your business, and what is the most time consuming?
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's a difficult question because I have two businesses, really. I have YouTube and I have reselling. I would say reselling does take a little bit more, because although I am filming while during it, I have to shop regardless. So how many times? Oh, this is difficult. I never really wrote it down. When I started, I'll tell you this. Whenever I started reselling, I had everything written down, because I was like, is this actually better than working a real job, or am I just believing it? So I did that, and I had like everything down. I had like, what did I pay? How long did I spend at this yard sale? Like, I was stupid. Okay, maybe not stupid, but I was a bit extra. So I think I'm doing at least 30 hours a week, maybe 40.
You're doing more than that.
Am I doing more?
I think so.
Okay. It's hard. Look, you know why it's hard? Is because I don't document what I'm doing, and it just feels like I'm playing. I know that's such a cop-out answer, because I enjoy what I'm doing. Like, it doesn't feel like work. And when it doesn't feel like it, you're like in the zone. And it's just like, so the question, what is most time consuming? Shipping is time consuming. And if you can put on a podcast or put on a show or something, that'll fly by too. So I would say you're shipping. If you're listing is actually pretty time consuming and mind numbing if you don't enjoy doing it, which I don't. So I don't list. But what do you guys say, Fat Birds?
Well, we're going to be a lot different from you, Jeffrey. But so for me, each week, so say I edit one video and put that video out a week. We do our flipping and sipping show, which is about 2.5 hours. Shipping on Sundays and invoicing is, around 3 hours. And then, of course, our sourcing that we do on the weekends. So we can't source during the week because we're working. So we do our sourcing on the weekends at like auctions and flea markets and things like that. So, I mean, me personally, I'm putting in 10 to 12 hours a week. And Laura's probably putting in close to that a week as well. Plus, our jobs. So that's probably us, is 10 to 12 hours. And honestly, that's not much. I mean, I could put so much more time into it but I do like to have a little bit of a life as well.
And I like some of the, I like to do the networking and stuff. So I like to study other people's videos. I like to keep up with the community because that's so much fun. I like to check in on other people's sales just to see what's happening and kind of build up those relationships a little bit, because I enjoy that. So I don't know if I should even count that, but if you count that kind of time as well, it adds up.
Laura does the public relations and professional development.
That's good to have.
Mine would be like a lot. If I actually wrote down the amount of time that I spend, it would probably be like, I mean, a ton, 60, 70, 80 hours some weeks. But I'm going to go ahead and go with, it feels like sometimes I'm playing around. Like going to yard sales. Yeah, I got to go to yard sales, but it's really fun to go to yard sales on Saturday morning for, 4 or 5 hours. Is it work? Yeah, because I got to come back and list it and do all that stuff. But like even today, I sat down for a really long time and did YouTube. I sat here and drank coffee and did stuff on YouTube and, edited. It was work, sure, but it was not that bad. But I spend a ton of time doing this, like a lot. And the thing that takes most time consuming, not so much now, but when I started, was research on items that I pick up, because I would pick up something. I didn't know the certain golf club. I didn't know the certain tool. I knew it was valuable. I knew something, but it would take me you get 100 pieces of tools in one toolbox, and 50% of it, you have to look up the other 50%. And then you got to look up sold comps on that. So that all took an enormous amount of time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I again like Jeffrey, it's two jobs. Like those of us you see on YouTube, we have two jobs. We have YouTube and then we have reselling. And then for all of that, there's the PR that they're talking about, because we do need to know kind of what's going on. We need to chat. I do Instagram. I am crazy and started doing TikTok. And that's part of like building the brand for your overall business, so I think we probably have a lot more going on than people really realize until you go and start to do what we're doing. I respond to every comment still. I'm very OCD about that, and that takes a lot of my time to respond to everybody. Same with messages and emails. I make sure I respond to everybody. That is it's little snippets throughout the day, but again, like everybody said, like I love all of it. I love doing YouTube. I love reselling. So we're working, but it's not like working. And the cool thing, like for me with having Dalton, I can bring Dalton with me. We can go sourcing. He's in here when I'm doing my videos. He can be with me when I'm listing. So it's not like a job where, he can't come or he has to go to daycare or something like that. So I probably spend, like Julian said, I would probably say like 60 to 80 hours a week overall. But like Jeffrey's saying, and that's kind of the point where I'm getting, is like with the daily videos, like is thinking, okay, like, is it worth it? But it's so hard because like he said, it's like, okay, each video might equal like this much amount in revenue and I'm going to lose that. And yeah, so it's hard to juggle it. I like, because I do my sourcing videos, but I do them all in one day. So I get 3 or 4 sourcing videos in a day, and then I just have to edit them. So I'm not like recording every day. My lovely main moderator there, Richard, has a question for both of the guests. How did you get started into reselling?
Well, I kind of happenstanced into it. So this was about 4 or 5 years ago. I went to an auction, and it was Aaron, my boyfriend, his auction. It was his grandma's like estate. And at the time I was a shill bidder. I didn't know that was a thing, but his dad wanted certain things to go for certain prices. And if they didn't go for that, he just wanted to keep them. So my job was to make sure they went for at least a certain amount. And if not, we're just going to keep them, or he's just going to keep them. So while I was there at the auction, I found out, I saw many things. I'm like, there's value in that. Like, because I was an Etsy buyer. I was like, I knew aesthetically what was popular, as different styles and vintage things, because I enjoy it. So I was there and I'm like, but this is all like good stuff and it's going for $2 or $1. And so I started buying a couple of the things just because I couldn't bear to see it go for so cheap. So that was like part of it. I didn't even know it was I didn't know that was a business. I didn't know reselling was a business. Ironically, you would think, of course it was, because I was buying things from Etsy. Where did I think they got it from? But yeah, I think that was my first formal introduction to the business side of it. But before that, I went to flea markets whenever I was 18. I was always into old shows, I Love Lucy, I bought a rotary phone whenever I was 14 or 15 online because I just love the old things and aesthetics. So it was a natural fit, the vintage side of things. But I didn't know it was reselling. I didn't know that there was a whole reselling world out there, honestly, until I fell into it.
So for me, this is a funny story. So for me, Laura just kind of comes up to me one day out of the blue. We're best friends, by the way. We've been friends for a really long time. But Laura comes up to me one day and she's like, hey, I've got a great idea for us to make some extra money. And I'm like, okay, what is it? You know, she's always got some sort of scheme or plot or something. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? And she's like, I think we need to make YouTube videos and sell things on eBay. And I'm like, are you crazy? What are we going to sell on eBay? Like what? And who would ever watch that? And what are you talking about? And so she had to sit me down and show me videos like Crazy Lamp Lady and Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter and Jeffrey. And I'm like, nobody is ever going to watch this. Nobody ever. So, 2.5 years ago, I had no idea that this reselling community existed. But I'll let Laura has a background in reselling.
Yeah, so I grew up in the reselling world because my mom owns a brick and mortar store. Her mom started it, so it's like a 50-year plus
antique store,
3-generation business. And so when my kids were little, I did that so that they didn't go to daycare and all that. But then when they went to school, same old story. I had to do a 9 to 5 to get insurance and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I have always been exposed to it. And of course, as mother and daughters always do, we like completely different things. And my mom has all this opportunity to get all this stuff. And she's like, ugh, God, I hate that. So for example, Mary Beth didn't even realize how much she was going to love swung vases. But the very first swung vase I got, I gave Mary Beth because I was like, hey, look at this. And my mom's like, hey, I found this at a yard sale today when I was buying my other stuff that I want for my store. And she's like, I thought you might want it. She's like, I sure hope I didn't pay too much for it. And I said, oh, my God, Mom, that's so pretty. And it was a big Amberina, tall vase. I should probably go get it. But anyway. And I was like, oh, it's okay. What'd you pay for it? And she goes, oh, $7. So and so I was like, I have this opportunity to buy all these things that my mom doesn't want because she's been in the business so long that people call her up. They just call her up. They're like, Joy, I got my mom's, house to clean out. Come get what you want and make me an offer and that kind of thing. And so all the time we're getting sourcing like that. So that's kind of how it came along. And it's just perfect because Mary Beth is a graphic designer by trade and can do all the video stuff. And so, yeah.
That worked. I see not a ton, but there are quite a few super chats. So I'm going to grab them and hit you guys with a round of dolphins. So my dolphin not likers, like your TV for a minute. Jack's Treasures sent $5 and said, thanks for all the great advice and entertainment as always. And this is a total compliment. His grouchy blind cat seems to love listening to Jeffrey. Jeffrey is his favorite. So, Jack, here is your dolphin. Super chat. I have to find the other ones. I'm scrolling. Oh, Frank. Frank sent $4.99. Thank you so much, Frank. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. I think this is the last one. Atomic Redhead. I think. I told you I'm hitting you guys with dolphins. Super chat. I get so behind, I don't want to miss them. So thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. And then, let's see. Hold on. Kat, what would you say your percentage is on resellable items versus non-resellable in lot auction boxes? Well, if you're Kat, you think you can sell everything. And that is one of my problems that I'm trying to address. I actually was talking with Dagny about this because that thinking that I have a ton of sellable stuff is how I have amassed my death pile. So I think probably realistically it would be more like 50-50, and I need to get a little more strict with myself with letting stuff go and saying, okay, like that I don't need to list every single thing. And I've been going through the boxes and trying to get through it so I can buy more, because I'm on self-imposed buying restriction because I have 60 bankers boxes of unlisted inventory back there. So I have a big box in here. And the thing is, I had people who would come and get it, and they would bring it to like their church thrift store and like donate to the homeless, and they would ship it overseas, like if it were clothing items, to like less fortunate countries. And they weren't really reliable as far as coming to get it. And I wish they were, but they would want like a whole truck full. So I couldn't like just have 2 boxes and they would like swing by and pick them up. So I honestly should probably like advertise again, because I bet I could find someone. I am lucky I have kids and I don't have to itemize my taxes. So I don't need those donation receipts like a lot of people without children might. So I'm fine just giving it to a person, you know, that could use it, whether they resell it or go to the flea market or whatever. I would rather help them than a thrift store that might toss half of it, you know? So probably 50-50, but with me, it's more like 95. I try to list too much, and that's why I have too much stuff. So yeah. Mom and Son Thrifting Fund. Do you think the market is flooded with thrifting YouTubers and live sales, or is there room for more?
I think there is room for more. It's going to be, it's sort of like survival of the fittest, though. So if you're good, yeah, you'll be good at it. But I mean, if you don't have a certain proclivity towards both of those things, I think you'll struggle more. But there's room. Yeah, I would say there's room. And there's lots of buyers. Yeah, I don't know. What do you say, Laura and Mary Beth?
Laura, Mary Beth.
So yeah, I agree with Jeffrey. And you know, if you're brand new and you only have a handful of subscribers and you try to be successful at a live sale, it may not pan out. So, you know, like Laura said, she does tons of legwork, like in the comments and other people's videos and you know, just communicating with people and all that relationship building. It's so important. And like Jeffrey said, you know, I can't exactly remember what Jeffrey said, but maybe you didn't mention this. It was kind of like there's always room for more. And in saying that, you know, not everybody's going to like Laura and myself. Not everybody's going to like XYZ down the street. So, you know, there's always that niche channel that somebody's going to love and somebody's not going to love. So, you know, it's just enough to go around.
Yes. Sure. More the merrier.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's always room for more because there's certain people that don't, you know, you just don't click with that certain person. I have my certain YouTubers that I really like that are not resellers. I just watch them. I click with them like right away. I was like, oh, I like this guy. And it's just one of those things. I think there's always room for more. So if you're not doing YouTube and you're thinking about it and you want to do it and you think you'll be, you know, you like it or whatever, definitely go ahead and give it a shot. And then you'll find out real quick if you like it or not, because hours of editing will tell you that. If you're like, I really want to do this. And then 6 hours later, you're like, I don't know about it anymore.
Yeah. And I think like people come and go. I would say probably 75% of the channels that started when I started have stopped. And I think one of the big reasons is a lot of people expect to get big fast. But if you look at a lot of the bigger channels, they've been around for years and years. So you might have just found them when they have 20,000 subscribers. But at some point they didn't. And it's a lot of work for a long time for nothing, except for the community and the interaction. And, you know, you're putting in all these hours and you're not getting anything out. And that's where you have to love it. And I think there is room for more. And you just have to be unique and be yourself. And if you offer something, and it can be any little thing, like you're not the same as everybody else, I think don't try to copy and be exactly what other people are, because that's already there. So I tell people all the time, like, something about you is different, and that's what's going to make people want you, you know? Like, we're not all the same. We might kind of do the same thing, but there's going to be one personality thing or something you do that they like about you. And there's room, but you need to be very, very patient. You might get lucky and you might blow up overnight. That happens. Anthony, my good friend Froggy Flips, we started at the same time. He just hit 100,000 subscribers, you know, and that happens, but you got to know that's not the majority of people, you know, and they're, you know, you got to love it. And people know if you love it, or like if you're trying to get something, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, be real, enjoy what you're doing, and people will like you for you, but everybody's not going to like you, and everybody's not going to like me. And it's okay. You know, I don't expect everybody to like me. So yes, is the final answer there. Bree wants to know, what are some of the best selling items over the last few weeks?
I mean, that's not really a fair question for me, because I'm not really letting the market dictate what's selling. I'm sort of saying, here, buy it.
This is what I have.
This is what you're going to buy today. And I'm kind of I'm just going off of what I feel. I'm going off of like, for instance, fall, of course. So I saw a lot of glassware and things. So amber glass, some carnival. I just packaged everything so I can't look at it now. But yeah, and then in my next sale is going to be more Christmas heavy. So I'm going to have, you know, Christmas glass, like reds and greens and all kinds of things. So
yeah, we're kind of in the same boat as Jeffrey, where, you know, what we have available is what we're selling. But I would say on eBay right now, we're selling lots of Christmas ornaments. That's probably been the majority of our recent sales, I would say.
Yeah, we had a big this is kind of a cute story. We found Kat, I'm like you. I love a good auction lot. I mean, I can't take it. It's like it's my favorite thing. So we bought this box of ornaments, and it was less than $10, I think, for the whole box. And you could just see the top. You could just see that there were like some Looney Tunes and some cartoon characters or whatever in the top of the box. And we're like, here, we'll just get this. And anyway, I won't make it too long, I promise. But there ended up being a lot of Snoopy in there and a lot of Garfield. And so we were going through, and we made a big deal on the show, on the Flippin' and Sippin' show, about looking them up. And there was a whole set of Snoopy. This is a good tip for you guys. A good be on the lookout. There are porcelain Japan Snoopy ornaments, and it's the junk food series. And if you want to go look, there's some of them on our eBay channel. We've sold one so far, but they're like this big. And he has different kinds of junk food. Like he's on a hot dog and
French fries,
popcorn, root beer, that kind of stuff. But they sell for $100 a piece.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were super excited.
Yeah. So we're excited. And then when we were talking about all that, Jamie from Mid-Century Wasted was like, don't short yourself on the Garfield ornaments. And sure enough, we've sold a ton of the Garfield ornaments, and they bring a lot too.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I've done good with Garfield stuff too.
Yeah, I would say a lot of my Department 56 stuff that I posted about, that stuff's selling really good. And all my hunting gear, if I had anything hunting related, it is sold. I just picked up a spotting scope today. Yes. Yeah, so that'll sell really fast. But anything hunting related, it's boom, gone.
Mine have been all over the place. Like I sold some ornaments today. I sold a frame matted bird lithograph. Because I have such a big variety. It's never like one, like I can't clump stuff because I have such random. And like the piano baby today that sold. I've been selling a lot of vintage like Harley and Bike Week t-shirts too, which I don't know if it's Christmas stuff. Now's not really the time. I would think more spring, but they've been selling like crazy lately. But that's what I've been listing. My stuff's about 50-50 on like either it sells fast or it sits for a year. Joseph Jock, for those who offer eBay Standard International, and he knows I do you enter the NOE? I do not. I will tell you on some international, they make you look up like the code for the merchandise, and Pirate Ship has a link to take you and you can just type in what you have. That's the only time I ever enter like any numbers into the customs thing is when it makes me. So like if it doesn't make me, then I just print it as is. But if it's required, I'll click the thing on Pirate Ship to go look up. And it's only a couple of countries, I think, that require you to put like, it's like a 6 dot number. Does anybody else have to fill out those? And no, it's not very often.
I had to do it like once on Pirate Ship.
I think I've only had to do it like 3 times ever.
I'm scared of international shipping, Kat. So I haven't tackled that yet.
He's scared of that.
You haven't shipped anything international?
Just to Canada.
Oh, just Canada.
Canada's international. It's the same as shipping anywhere else. Don't be scared of it. I would like to know who told you. So the Upcycled Shed is saying that they were told because they have a low number of followers on eBay, it might hurt their sales. I don't believe that at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know who told you that, but I don't believe that. I don't know if anybody else does, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If anything, they go off of your rating. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be, that would be more like your feedback percent, but not necessarily.
Maybe maybe that would deter someone though, if it's like you're a new seller, but I don't know I don't know.
I can tell.
Yeah, maybe.
Our sales are not, we sell quite a bit for the few listings and the few followers we have. I can just imagine the more that we listed, the better the sales would be.
How much more you would get.
Yeah, I can't see that it would be that low followers would be any kind of hindrance, I don't think.
Breath of Home, you can ship through Greyhound. I have heard that, but I have never tried it.
I heard that too.
Furniture and stuff. Mm-hmm. You can do it. I have never tried it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It might be something to look into for like cheaper ways of doing it. I think I did not get this one. Okay, another round of dolphins, guys. Ooh. Karen Chase, $4.99. Thank you so much. Super chat. As I was scrolling, I saw Dagny's comment saying you can do it, Kat. I am going to try. I might have to like call you for moral support to like make me like take stuff out of the box to like let it go. Trash to Cash podcast just sold a blown glass De Carlini ornament for $30. That is awesome. I sold a little, like the little cheap, I feel like nobody picks them up. They're like 50 cents, like those little blown glass, like angels and ships, and they sell for like $10 though. So for 50 cents, I pick them up. All right, here is your dolphin. And then I just saw Renee Steadfast Selection sent super chat. Welcome to the flipping family. I hit the wrong one. You got the special dolphin.
I was like, well, you have.
I moved around where everything is. I did that last week too. Okay. Renee says, eBay is finally requiring instant payment on offers. Just saw that on Rockstar Flipper, which is Casey, channel this evening. I would like to see the paperwork on that. I think that would be an amazing thing. I hope that is really true. I hope that is true. Let me give you your dolphin, and then we will talk about this. I will hit the right dolphin. Super chat. That is so. My dolphin is Emily Conway. I don't know if any of you know her. She started her channel when I did too, and she does a lot of graphic design, and she is my dolphin voice.
That's really
cute. We're laughing every time. It's cracking us up.
Dalton loves it, and Dalton's like, more dolphin, more dolphin, more dolphin. He's not in here, but Dalton absolutely loves the dolphin. Some people hate the dolphins. I get a few dolphin haters, but it's okay.
Aww.
So where was I at? Oh, maybe I was on Sarah Styles' channel last week, but a lot of people we were talking about don't, because most of the platforms now, that is the norm. So like on Poshmark or Mercari, if you make an order, your payment's already held. So when your seller accepts the offer, your payment's taken. And we were saying that is why we think a lot of people on eBay think they already have paid, because they have to put in their credit card information to register, and they're thinking when they do it, they've paid. So a lot of people might not be paying because they think that they have already paid for an item. And I've had people ask me for a refund that haven't even paid. So I think this would make sense that it would lock in when you make an offer, and then we would get our money. I think that should be how it is for auctions too. Yeah. Like they should authorize your card up to whatever amount you're going to bid to, especially like all these really high dollar auctions that run and then people don't pay. Mm-hmm. You know, that would only make sense. So if they did that, I think that would be kind of a game changer on eBay. I hope that that's like, I'm going to have to research it. So I might have to do a video on it if I figure it out.
There you go.
I think we can answer this for like everything we're doing. What shipping format do you prefer on? You can say if you're doing eBay or when you did eBay, do you do flat rate, calculated, or free?
Okay. Well, I wrote about this in my book as well, because there's benefits to all three of those. I prefer calculated. And I would discourage free unless it's maybe first class, because you don't know where it's going and that could bite you in the butt. And for the same reason, flat rate. If you're going to do flat rate, you might as well just include it anyway to the price, by the way, and then call it free. It's more appealing to the buyer, but I would say calculated.
It depends on the item for us, I think. So we have for a bunch of like really higher priced items. So for example, right now I've got a baseball bat that's worth around $600, and I have listed it for a little bit more than that, or best offer. So say $650 and free shipping. So I've kind of put that shipping price in with the item, and I feel like that free shipping might entice more people, or it might be better seen, so to speak. And then Jeffrey, really for some of our smaller items, I'll just do like a flat rate. I'll just guess, and I'll just say, $850 or something. So if it's something small that I know is going to go first class pretty much anywhere, I might just guess at a flat rate.
It's totally a time management issue for us, because we cannot make ourselves spend the time to list, where, because we have to choose all the different things that we're spending time on. And I know listing's important. So, but anyway, so it's just a time management thing. If I have to, it's one more hindrance to me listing if I've got to, find the box and weigh it and all that kind of stuff before I do the listing. So I think calculator would be better, but I do flat rate because it's a time management issue at the moment.
I agree.
I prefer calculated. I do very little free. Flat rate on like golf clubs. I know people are like, it's only a couple dollars difference. I'm on the East Coast. Like the water is directly next to me right now. And I will get burned so bad on these golf clubs, because a 2-pound rate going to Florida for me is super cheap. If you send that thing to California, it is like astronomically different, like $4 or $5. I think it's like $4 difference. So I just can't. I know flat rate does like really well, and there's an argument against that one, but I prefer calculated just where I'm located in the United States, because them West Coast sales, they're good, but that shipping goes up.
They like us.
I wanted to clarify that you're talking about not a flat rate. because there's like flat rate boxes.
Boxes,
We're talking about
yeah,
boxes,
sure.
aren't
No,
we?
they don't mean flat rate boxes. I think they mean like all your first class
Right.
might be like $5 or
Like
something.
so we're talking about marketing then, because
Right.
it's all going to come
Yeah.
out in a wash one way or the other.
Right.
It's how you market it.
Right.
Okay.
And like Julian said, for me, same thing. I'm East Coast. I get a lot of West Coast sales, and I know they say like you're going to get more sales with like the flat, but I'm in the bottom corner of the U.S. and California, Oregon, Washington people love my stuff, and that's a $5 difference. And if it's a $20 item, I'm not going to take a $5 hit on the shipping. So
Right.
for me, I do calculated. Like with free, my thing is, and I tell everybody, if you promote your items and you do free shipping, you're paying promoted fee on shipping for no reason. So that's why I don't do free shipping on promoted, because then if I'm promoting at 10%, I'm going to, where if they paid for shipping, I wouldn't have that fee. But if it's free and built into the price, I'm paying that extra 10% on that amount. And I think it comes down to like having, I will, if everybody in the market has it, sometimes on like my Harley shirts or some of the first class only, I will do free shipping, but only if the market dictates it. Like if I do a search and every single listed is free shipping, everything single sold is free shipping, I'm going to cave and I will do it, because I'm not going to be the one sticking out like a sore thumb charging. But other than that, I'm doing calculated. If you're in the middle of the country, you might have a good advantage to being able to offer, okay, it's $12 no matter where you are. But
right. There's an
like,
argument.
I don't want to charge 12 when like an East Coast person could get it and pay 8.
There's an argument though, like you just said, oh, if everybody's doing free shipping included, you could be the only one that's not, because maybe there's a buyer that it's actually cheaper for them just to pay like add on like what the shipping really is plus the item cost.
I sort by like price plus shipping, cheapest first, whether I'm paying for it or it's free. That's how I search it.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great tip.
Yeah, for sure. Jan wants to know if any of us have had a returned item that was not the item that you sold, and how did you handle it?
No.
No, we haven't had that happen. It's interesting though.
I actually haven't. I'm waiting on that. Like every time I open up a box, I'm like, what did they send me today? And it's always the same thing. It's usually broken.
I have not, but I will tell you what I would do is probably just move on, because it's part of business. Just like they're going to claim it's not as described. I know I saw, it's been like over a year and a half ago. Shed Flips did a video. Somebody sent him an empty box and eBay sided with the buyer. So I will tell you 9 times out of 10 on the platforms, they're going to side with your buyer, and you might as well just say it's a loss. It's like retail. You're in retail. It's theft. It's a part of doing business, and it sucks. But that's like them sending you back a broken one. They buy yours that works and send you a broken one. It's not worth the headache, I guess, is my point of it. So I would probably just let it go and be pissed off for a day. I'm not going to lie and say I would be all happy about it, but I would probably just let it go. Breath of Home wants to know how many of us do local sales and what percentage is local. So, I mean, I guess like Jeffrey, like you were saying, you open your store up to people sometimes.
So I really don't sell on Facebook Marketplace right now. I've done it before, but the stuff that I'm buying really isn't. I mean, I don't really sell it on there. But the store, yes, I've done it twice this year. Percentage though, oh my gosh, I don't know, like 5 to 10%. I mean, I did well because I was open for, I guess, 4 days in total. So, I mean, I had sort of that everything happening at once. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a really big deal. I did it just because I wanted to liquidate some of the stuff that was around here that I didn't really feel like shipping, things that were a little cheaper or too large and bulky, whatever I could do to lighten the load for online stuff.
So like professionally selling, so to speak, probably 0% right now. But like Kat was saying earlier about like box slots and what do you do with all the stuff that's left over, we keep all of that stuff like in a corner, just boxes and boxes and boxes, and just kind of pile them up. And we do have like yard sales / rummage sales a couple times a year to get rid of those kinds of things. So like smaller things that aren't going to sell, or things that are slightly damaged, or things that are just not really our thing, things like that. We will try to sell those a couple times a year. We'll make a few $100s at each of our little yard sales. So, I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, and we're thinking about having a little corner at my mom's shop as kind of like a little pop-up shop, because
That'd be so good.
We've actually had viewers show up at my mom's store, you know, to stop in and say hi and stuff like that. And so that might be fun. So
and it would work great because your aesthetic is way different than your mom's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I do very little, but big items, maybe furniture pieces I come across, golf bags that really aren't worth a ton of money, but it would be, the percentage would be 1, if that.
And I don't really do any at all. I don't deal well with people. I used to, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and it's very frustrating to either A, sit around all day waiting for somebody to show up that never shows up, or B, driving 10 minutes for $20, let's say, and same thing, they don't show up. So like my Facebook marketplace is all listed as shipping only. Like I don't have an option for people to pick up. Not saying that I wouldn't let them, and I've had people pick up some eBay stuff. Like I sold some taxidermy. I was very happy they came and picked that up and I didn't have to ship it. But I don't like the same thing with the yard sale. Like I'm one of those, I can get this much on eBay. So like when they want to give me like 10% of that, I'm like, no, like I can list that on eBay for $20. Why would I sell it to you for $2? That's why I would rather give it away than do a yard sale. Cause like I'm like, no, it's worth more. Like I can't deal with it. We actually made like $900 last time we had a yard sale though, in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
That's when I was buying pallets. So I had like a lot of stuff that I just didn't want to deal with. But like the whole getting up early and having to stay, I don't do good staying put for a long amount of time. I want to be able to like do whatever I have to do and not worry about it. So mine would be 0.
Yeah. Yard sales are not fun. They really, I mean, unless you're
I don't
like really lonely and bored.
And it's like the people all come at once. Like there'll be nobody, and then here come like 5 cars. True. And then there's nobody for hours, and then here they all come again. So yeah. I don't like them. Nancy wants to know, Julian, have you sold all the Scentsy?
I answered her.
I see you answered her.
Yeah, a little bit left. They've been going pretty quick, so I'm happy with it.
How is my Death Pile Facebook group going? We just hit over 1,000 members. I think we're a couple weeks in, so we're not doing horrible. The only thing is, and if you guys are watching from the group, we being me, myself, Richard, and Dale, Julian's been busy, so I don't know that he was really involved in it. We decided we didn't want links shared. So we don't want buying and selling going on in the group. And people have been doing that. And I don't want to seem like a witch, but like we made a few rules and we really want people to stick by them. Because I think if we start getting off course of what the group is for, then it's just going to go haywire. Sure. So we've been dealing with that because everybody's wanting to share their stores, but I think there's a lot of reselling groups for that. And I don't think ours is for that because we're wanting to motivate you to list your death pile, not sell you things. Does that make... I hate feeling like the bad guy, because we're like deleting posts and then I'm having to make mean messages and That's not
It's also
me.
announcements,
I want it to just like be itself, but you know, people can't manage themselves. There's going to be one bad apple somewhere. I had to delete one person for being mean about grammar in the group. They messaged somebody attacking them for grammar, so they were deleted immediately.
Nikki, I told you not to do that.
Jeffrey, no, I'm just kidding. But it's going good. I can't be involved in it, and I hope everybody understands. I am super busy. I am like overly busy, so I try and come in and comment, but it's more like I wanted to create the community off of YouTube for you guys to support each other for the overbuying, you know. So it's going good. Don't share your hauls. I've seen a couple of them. That is encouraging people to buy, not get rid of stuff. It's hard because here I am making like YouTube videos about thrifting, and then I have the group saying, don't buy anything, you know, so kind of contradictory. But I admire those of you without like giant death piles, because it is not me, you know, it is just not. Odalali shop wants to know if anybody sells at flea markets or antique booths.
Well, I did. For about 2 years, at the most I had 3 booths, but that was a while ago, and it just was not enough profit. It was hardly worth it. It was just like a hobby, and it was, I could almost equate it to having a yard sale. It was that kind of mentality. A lot of time pricing things, going in, you have to rearrange them constantly to create that new like look. So, because people walk through these malls a lot and they're like repeat buyers. And if your booth looks the same, they're just going to walk by. But yet if you switch everything around, then suddenly it's a new looking booth and they'll go in it. They'll maybe find something. It was a lot of work though. And I was only making about $800-900 a month, which sounds good, except it's not. Take out cost of goods, take out your time, time is a big thing. It was 30 minutes drive. It was an hour drive each way or round trip. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's not worth it. When I literally broke it down, I broke down, what am I making? Take out cost of goods, take out all the fees, take out everything. Then I divided it out per like hour. And I figured it all. I was making like $2 an hour or something. It was stupid. So I didn't like it, but it worked for the time that I was doing it, because I was able to liquidate things that they were like incidental things. I would go to an auction, end up with a whole bunch of crap, be like, why? I don't want to like donate this. I could sell it for a couple dollars. And I did.
See, that's how I have all these bank accounts.
Yeah. It's like, you don't want to give it away, but at a certain point, it's like you said earlier, it's not worth the headache and the hassle. You could take that same amount of effort and devote it in 10x somewhere else in your life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's expensive in our particular area, even though we live in a small town in Western Kentucky, but that doesn't really, the cost of living isn't super high here, but for whatever reason, the booth space and stuff is expensive. I don't know what it is in Florida or anything like that, but like the one booth that we could rent here would be like $200 a month and 10%. So that's a lot.
I think most of them here are expensive too. And that's my thing, is like the overhead of a booth. And like I'm cutting Julian off here real quick, but like a flea market comes back to the whole, I don't want to sit still for this many hours in one place. I got stuff to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to load my car full of stuff, have to set it out on tables, and then pack it back up and then do it again. If you do Saturday and Sunday, I would be one of those people, like at the end of the day, it's like, here, take this all for this amount of money and my neighbors would love me, because it's a lot of time. And I know like Leroy Blood Sweat Sell, mm-hmm. like flea markets are main part of his business model. I don't know if he's in here tonight, but he does, like, he sets tables up for like 50 cents and $1. And those items, like Jeffrey's saying, like that you don't want to get rid of, he makes a lot of money on like 50 cents and $1 because he's buying these big auction lots. So you could do it. But for me, I would almost like want to hire someone and I could put those boxes and they could like have half the money, like, okay, give me half of what. So if you live near me and you want to go sit at the flea market, email me.
There you go. Yeah.
I've got
That's
the
a
stuff.
good way to.
For
That's a
sure.
good way to scale. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I should convince my 22-year-old bum living in my rental house next door, my son, aka, to go do that. Julian, you don't do any, do you?
Nah, I got nothing.
I think the big thing with a lot of us is like we're go and we're moving. You know, and like with Mary Beth and Laura, like they have their other jobs, so they're sourcing on the weekend. They don't have, like, I would think you wouldn't have time to sell or you couldn't source.
Not really.
Right?
No, I tell you, the only thing that's tempting to me, and really, I guess it's not. I had thought about doing a booth like somewhere else. Like I have kids that live like in like 4 or 5 hours away that I travel to, and so that makes the trip a business expense. You know,
But
so
you
I mean,
can source there. Go to one flea market.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It probably it's just
Everywhere
easier.
I go is business. Everywhere. We'll go to like the Bahamas and we'll buy some souvenirs to sell on eBay. And,
Well, I don't think you should say that out loud, but okay.
but if you're buying stuff, I mean, like my Pennsylvania trip, and I would make YouTube videos too. So
Yeah. I'm
I've never been out of the country. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but I have to drive everywhere. I'm a driver. I like drive everywhere. I told my accountant, I'm like, don't like put the mileage until you contact me this year. Cause I drove to Pennsylvania. I drove to Cincinnati, Ohio. Like I have been all over the country this year.
Do you use QuickBooks, that mileage tracker?
Julian does. Julian does.
I love it. I always tell it. I'm always like, go to QuickBooks Self-Employed, get that little thing. Everything.
I just need to do it. I just need to do that. I keep saying it.
It's so easy.
I'm going to check right now. It's probably at 6,500 miles. No, it's at 7,000 miles now for this year. And so many of that is just like actually driving here is just a few, like, I mean, but it all adds up.
But it adds up. Yeah.
I go through every couple of days and I categorize all my transactions and my miles. It's kind of fun.
I need to do it. Rita over on Facebook said she loves my TikTok ads. Well, thank you. I'm trying. I was doing them every day and then I haven't done them the last 3 days. I will make one probably when I get off of here. Cece wants to know if you're going to be out of town, if you have no coverage, do you like, I'm assuming like people to do whatever you're doing in your business, do you set time away and continue to send offers and respond to messages? She means on eBay. Like, are you still gonna run your eBay store or do you just shut it off until you return?
When I had Etsy, that was a question I had because there's a idea that if you just put it on vacation, you're going to dry up and shrivel away and no one's ever going to shop at your store again, or it's going to take so long for you to come back. But the reality is I was fine. I turned it off. I actually had a vacation, you know, I didn't have it going off in the back of my mind. So I would just turn it off and just, you know, take a real vacation, come back to it when you're back.
Yeah, that's what we do. We turn ours off if we're going to be gone.
I put mine on now. Like you don't have to do the whole extending the shipping. They do that automatically now. Before you had to do like both of those, which was weird. But I do my vacation. I do the same thing. Like I'll answer questions because they still come in, but it's like time away mode now. But yeah, I do that. Did I answer that question? Response. Yeah, but no, I answer questions.
Bad in a work. You did. Yeah, I think so. I'm a workaholic. I don't think I keep that a secret from anybody. Way too much of one. I've been one my whole life. I will probably be one forever. So I will take my vacation like Thursday to Monday just so I don't miss any. And I keep sending offers and I keep doing it. I'm so bad about taking time off. And like you guys know, I've been sick for like 2 weeks and still pushing through. I should, but I don't know that I ever will. I like when I went up to Pennsylvania, my husband didn't want to come, so he did all of the shipping and everything. And I listed a few things while I was away. I didn't do it as much as I thought I would, so I did take a break and actually went out and had fun. But I think the most I would probably do is extend my handling time like to 3 days and take like a Thursday to Wednesday vacation. Just because that's a lot of like, I don't think you would lose sales, like Jeffrey's saying. Like, I think it would come back, but I think that I'm a workaholic. I think that I could not do it.
You should go on a cruise, because that's the one vacation
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel guilty taking, because I'm in the middle of the ocean and I don't have an excuse. Like, I can't work.
See, and I've never been on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise.
Got no service.
I feel like I would go crazy.
You would probably
there's
relax
so
if
much to
you
do.
did. So much to do.
Yeah.
And the excursions, if you take like on the different islands.
Yeah, I like snorkeling and stuff. I love the ocean.
You love a cruise then. They snorkel all the time.
Jeffrey, let's just organize a resellers cruise.
Me and Julian said we were gonna do like a fishing, like deep sea fishing resellers.
We do it on a cruise. Just throw a line over the side when it's traveling.
Oh my gosh.
Oda Lally Shop, do you think it's important to go to college for business courses to become a great reseller?
No, not for reselling. I think there's certain aspects of reselling that would benefit from having a business head, or at least someone who's responsible with finances, like making. If you can balance your checkbook at home, you should be pretty good with a business. But if you struggle, maybe work on your personal finances first before you start buying things. But business courses, I mean, accounting always helps, profit and loss statements. You don't have to. You could learn on your own as you go. I like to do that. I watch YouTube. I read books, listen to podcasts as I need to learn things. So I just take it step by step. I think on the whole, college isn't necessary, though. I think there's a lot of time wasted in college courses you don't need. You're not going to retain them if they're not interesting anyway. So
I'm a big advocate for higher education. I work at a college, so I think that it's very important, but I would not say that it would be mandatory at all. You know, some jobs, obviously, if you want to be a nurse or a doctor, I would definitely advise that you go to college and put in those hours and do your practicum and get certified. But, not every career path requires a 2 or a 4-year education by any means.
Well, you're a graphic designer too. Wouldn't you agree you didn't really need the college for that?
No, I learned a lot actually. I was an art major, so I feel like my fine arts education was quite beneficial actually.
Okay, I would disagree, because I also had the same graphic design career, and when I got jobs, they would just be like, "Oh, okay, so you can do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, see?" And they'll be like, "Great, you're hired." It wasn't like, "Well, tell me about like color theory." It's like, Anyway.
I would say no. I have the same kind of thought process as Jeffrey does on college. I have a 4-year degree in criminal justice, and I was a cop, and they said that you needed it. And I'm telling you right now that you did not to be a police officer. And they said it was helpful. It wasn't. I'm telling you that it was not helpful whatsoever. It was a total waste of 4 years. Am I glad that I have it? I guess. I mean, I don't know where it is. I went to USC, which is a decent place. But no, I would say that you really don't need a college degree for this at all. An accounting course, like even if you want to like do something like that, maybe on YouTube or something, just take a look. If you can, like he said, if you can balance a checkbook, you can do this. This is not that difficult. And if that's something you struggle with, just get an accountant. And guess what? That's over with. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and then just subcontract your weaknesses out and work on your strengths.
And it's not even my weakness. Like, I'm a good numbers person. I just don't want to do it. So I'm happy to pay my accountant every month, and I do absolutely nothing with it. And I know what I'm buying and what I'm selling for, and I know what I'm making in profit, and I sub it out. I agree that I don't think you do need it. But I will tell you guys, you have to be smart to be a reseller. You have to be able to retain information. Like, you have to remember the things you're seeing, what's selling, be able, like, it's not hard to look it up. So I don't think you need to be like the smartest person, but street smarts as far as like remembering things. Because if as you go along, like remembering, oh, I saw so and so sell that, or like knowing what's in style or in demand, like Jeffrey and Mary Beth and Laura, they know when they're going out and looking, or they might remember that they sold it at another sell to pick it up again. So you need to be able to retain information. I don't do the spreadsheets. I don't do all that. I am successful at it. My big thing was overbuying, which I've stopped. So my bank account looks a lot prettier since I've decided to list what I already paid for. But you need to be able to calculate in like shipping. But I think it's stuff you can learn again on YouTube. Like Jeffrey said, he has his book. You know, I think you can acquire that knowledge without the college part. Could it help? It might. And marketing, it might. Or you can find a friend who has that and, you know, network and can help you. I don't know that it would help. I don't think so. I don't think it would help you be a great reseller, because I think there are probably a lot of them that might not have even finished high school, you know.
This is a really hands-on business, and it's like learn as you go. And that's actually true.
You just need to retain it and remember, don't make the same mistakes like over and over and over, costing yourself money, you know.
And I'm not against college, because I definitely want doctors and nurses to go.
Yeah.
Some sort of higher education.
And lawyers.
Well, I missed that Froggy was almost at 200K. I have known Froggy since he started. He was actually one of the first guests on my show. Froggy Flips was. That was before Julian's time. Froggy was on my I think like my third ever live show. Froggy Flips was my guest. And I haven't talked to him in a while, but I have talked to his wife, who is a very, very lovely woman. To all of you saying thank you, you're very, very welcome. I am happy everybody came. Oh, look, we're at the quick fire round.
Uh-oh.
And I'm 45 minutes behind, by the way.
Yikes.
Okay. Jeffrey, are you ready?
Okay, I'll maybe.
I don't ever know either. I'm having to scroll. Hold on. I don't know if any, well, I guess we could answer this for Canada and stuff. What % of your sales are international?
7, 6?
Less than 2.
Okay.
I would say probably 4.
5. Karen, if I open an eBay store, can I bring my feedback with me, or do I start from scratch? I'll answer that. Your buying feedback goes with you and carries over to your selling account. So you bring that with you. Dave, nice of you to join us, my friend, even though that was like 30 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Has it made me work on my death piles? My group. I saw your question about how it's going. It has not, because I've been sick, so I haven't been able to work on much of anything. So hopefully after I work 2 12-hour shifts the next 2 days, hopefully that will change on Friday. Cha-ching King, what are your average sales price?
25 to 30.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll pass.
I think mine's also 25. I think it's really like 34 if I were to calculate it.
I think I'm at like 30, 35. Kim Maya, Kat, do you use Pirate Ship exclusively? No, I mainly use eBay shipping. I do use Pirate Ship exclusively for my reseller boxes and my live sales. Everything I sell on my live sales and my reseller boxes go through Pirate Ship. Let's see. Look, now I had to answer it and I wasn't looking for the next question, so I'm slowing down the speed round. Hold on. Do you guys do paperweights? They want to know what you would look for when buying paperweights.
For glass paperweights, I look for unique designs. That's very difficult to say, though. So you want to look at the quality of it. There's a difference between made in China versus made in Italy. I mean, you've got to I look for just quality. It's a dumb answer, but I mean, it's not very helpful. That's all.
I would agree with that. Stickers, maker marks, if they're signed, the color, we're more attracted to the ones that are more colorful, the ones with the bola conte, things like that.
Yeah, I would agree. Like,
Trying to find a
it
visual
depends
aid.
on how it looks. That's what's going to sell it. If it's really, really pretty and not cheap looking, here, Jeffrey's going to get an example.
Do I have any
sold
good
all
ones?
of my paperweights that were sitting around me. Signed is a big thing, though. Watch for signed ones because a lot of those companies are big money. My last one I just sold for 120 was from the Glass Eye.
I don't have any good ones right now.
So I would just say, if you can get them cheap and they're pretty and like a flower and colorful, you could still get 20, 25 if you can get them for $5. But the signed ones, in my experience, have been the ones worth money. Has the new extra security check on eBay happened to you? Yes. I clicked on it. It asked me to identify bicycles, and then it asked me to identify trains twice today. I had that happen. I don't know if anybody else has had that happen.
I've gotten it a couple times lately.
That happened to me today, and I thought, I was like, what is this? I got the first one wrong.
Started.
Did that. I had to do it 3 times, so maybe I should have went to more college. Didn't know what a bicycle was. Literally got it wrong.
Where is it? Question for Jeffrey. When the economy gets better, will you still have live sales?
I don't understand the correlation, but yes. I don't know why.
You started before like the whole COVID thing though, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was you're talking about. Oh, because of
I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, HSN has been going for years. And so HSN, QVC, it's all that direct selling. Yeah.
Yeah. Do any of us have storefronts like Jeffrey? I guess that we could open up.
So Laura's mom has Lehman Furniture and Antiques in Paducah, and we are thinking about like dedicating a little corner of the store here in the next month or so.
And Julian doesn't, I don't. I again comes down to the whole peopling thing. For me, nope. I don't.
You can't. You really get stuck. You can't source. And
that's what I'm saying. You can't go anywhere. Mary Beth and Laura, where do you live in Western Kentucky?
So we are in Paducah, the far western tip of the state, just right across the river from Illinois.
Owensboro is about 2 hours from us.
I'm still scrolling. I don't know what else you. Oh, here. Laura, I think you would just. Is there like an extended vacation? Does anybody know like the snowbirds? Like, how long can you turn your store off? Does anybody know?
I'm not sure what the extended amount of time is. We've only done it for like maybe a week at a time.
Look, did somebody tell him I was talking about him? Is that why he came in here, Leroy?
You must have.
People talk. I know people talk. Yes, and I'm going to highlight this because I know Leroy has put this out there. He has a learning disability. He cannot read and write well, and he still is a very, very successful reseller. So people of all levels can do this. It just takes hard work. He uses text to talk to do all of his listings. Just to give some of you guys there, it is possible. You just have to put the work in to overcome whatever. Like Leroy has figured out how to overcome his disability and still be a very successful reseller. And he also does YouTube. So Leroy, again, I know he was on the fence about putting this out when we first met, but he has since kind of come forward about that. And I think that's good. I think you can do it and figure it out. I don't know if Julian saw that comment there.
Yeah. I said, I don't know. Maybe a lot of them. Maybe none.
How many listings do we list a day?
Well, I don't sell on platforms anymore. We do my Friday night live sale. We sell 50 items in 2.5 hours.
Per person?
No.
Per total.
Barb brings 10 of them and I sell 40. It used to be 65, but I was like, I dropped down a little
So
bit.
you do 40 in a night, which that's a significant, like me and Yvonne normally do 15 each when we do ours.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't sell a ton. We probably do around 15 items on a Friday night, and then maybe 5 items a week, like in emails, and then maybe 5 items a week in eBay. So very, very small for us.
Except this week we sold 20 mystery boxes.
That's true. We had a big
for
week
$30
this
a
week.
piece.
Yay.
Listings, once I get all my YouTube stuff done, I usually do like 20 a day, 15, 20, 30. All depends what I'm listing. 15
Mine have went down to 10 because I have so much going on with YouTube and everything else. I have cut back on my listing. Plus I have my niece listing for me. So that kind of bumps up as well. Does anybody source via Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, or Craigslist? And do you have any tips or tricks for that?
No, I don't bother anymore. They're very high on Facebook around here, and it kind of just makes me annoyed looking at it because I'll try to get something. It'll never work. It never works out. It's just more headache than anything.
I follow a lot of local things on Facebook, groups and things that will put up items every once in a while. Not very often, but every once in a while I'll find an item or two that's worth it on Facebook Marketplace.
I'm a big Facebook Marketplace sourcer. I love it. And once you get in there and you put like the little keyword that you want to be notified as, so I have like golf clubs, golf, anything golf related, because I'm in a very golf rich area, it sends you an alert. And you around here, you got to be 30 seconds on it because they'll sell if it's a good price or a good set. So I'm a big fan of Facebook Marketplace. I don't do much Craigslist. Some people post, I do check that every week or so, but Facebook Marketplace, I probably check like if I get an alert, I'm on it within 30 seconds to a minute.
I didn't know you could do
I
that.
don't really source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can set
Yep.
up. I have like Ethan Allen set up on mine, but I have like too many furniture pieces right now, so I've been like ignoring it. But it's the same. If it's a good price, you better respond pretty quick.
Very fast.
Kim wants to know how much this is a perfect fast round question. How much coffee do you drink a day?
6 ounces.
0.
I'm a Coke drinker.
Geez, I drink between like 3 and 7 cups. Minimum of 3.
Wow.
I don't drink coffee.
What? I started drinking them to tide my migraines down, and yeah, it's good. I have it in the morning, and that's all I need. 1 cup of black
Just
coffee.
1 cup.
1 cup. That's good.
What's on your bucket list to find in the wild?
A Will George open wing flamingo, which is worth about $600.
Nice.
The Metlock's cabbage and tomato chip and dip featured in Mad Men.
Man, y'all said that really quick. I really like Jurassic Park things, like the original Jurassic Parks. I've never found an actual dinosaur, like the ones that are worth like $200-300 or whatever. I've never found I've only found like Jurassic World ones. So, or
I would like to find Tiffany stuff in the wild. I found Swarovski. That's actually how I learned about Swarovski, was at a garage sale, but I haven't found it since. And like Swarovski ornaments, the little snowflake ornaments sell over $100 each. So I found them for like $20 at a yard sale, and I left, and because there was no signal, and I'm looking it up as we're driving away, and I'm like, turn around. I'm like screaming at my husband. And I ended up buying all of them, and since I have done that. So I would love to find like Tiffany & Co. stuff is money. Do you have an accountant do your taxes, or do you use a program?
I do all my taxes because I enjoy it. Actually, I like getting into the numbers a little bit at the end of the year. I use QuickBooks.
Yeah, I've got QuickBooks. I have a friend that helps me do my taxes. So I can't really do it myself.
I use QuickBooks, and I also like to get in there because if you're doing your own taxes, I think you have a really good understanding of like what's going on. Like, really.
Yeah, because I
have no understanding.
I don't like the idea of like an accountant being like your parent, being like, well, you shouldn't really do that, because some of it's subjective. Okay. And so
mine, like, he said something one time, and I think I came back and he's never said anything again. Now he just lets me do what I want, and he does the books, and Like, he was probably right. I won't lie. It was about like me and my whole buying and buying and buying, which I've now stopped, which was an issue. It was an issue. All my profits were going to buying more stuff when I really didn't need more stuff because I still have more stuff. Angel MD, I am sorry. I did not mean to offend by saying overcome the disability. Leroy's learned how to work with his disability and figured out how to do things with the disability. So I did not mean to offend by that. Want to make sure. So am I in Florida? I did not mean to offend. I am in Florida. I'm in North Florida, about an hour from Gainesville and Ocala, and I'm 2 hours from any major city like Tampa, Jacks, Orlando. I am in the middle of nowhere. The absolute middle of nowhere. Is that what it's called, Jeffrey?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Will George. Mm-hmm. It's
Is that the maker?
That's the designer. Will George is the designer, and it's a ceramic open wing flamingo out of the 50s or the 60s.
They're copying. I think I caught up with all the questions. I don't know if you saw, Jeffrey, I went to my thrift store and I got comments like, Jeffrey collects flamingos. Somebody had donated like an entire flamingo collection, and it was like a whole section of the thrift store was nothing but flamingos. It's a lot of flamingos. What?
Well, speaking of accountants, not accountants, but taxes, I LLC'd. So that was a whole learning curve because I wanted to take that salary draw. Well, I don't want to get into the weeds with it financially, but anyway, that was a whole. Never mind. Forget.
We started, but we stopped. All right, guys, we are 6 minutes over. We still have over 500 people in the chat. Jeffrey, thank you for your commercial. I saw somebody say they saw your commercial on Instagram for our show.
Oh, I'm like, what?
I saw your commercial.
My story, the Instagram story.
Commercial story.
The commercial.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us this long. I am going to let everybody say goodbye. And if you have sales or whatever coming up, go ahead and tell everybody. And their links are all in the description below. So, Jeffrey, I will make you big. And if you tell when your shows and everything are coming.
Okay. So what is today?
Tuesday.
So my next sale will be this Friday night at 6:30 Central on YouTube. Then I'm doing a Monday sale. I'm starting to do Monday sales too. I didn't mention that. So I'm doing like 40 items on Friday and then like 30 on a Monday and then shipping on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. Depends. What else did you want to know?
Whatever. Tell them whatever you want to tell them.
Yes, I'm on YouTube and I have an Instagram. I think I plugged everything I needed to. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, yeah. And Richard put here, realniftyvintage.com, guys, for his holiday shipping tape.
Yeah, I've got two different versions. I've got the Santa Claus one that I showed earlier. And then I've also got like a 70s. It's orange and yellow. And it has like swung vases, mid-century starburst clock on it, like little atomic stars and things. It's fun.
Cool. All right, ladies.
All right. So I just want to say thank you, Kat, for having us on here. This has been really fun.
Yes, we've had a blast. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Julian, nice to meet you too tonight.
So on Friday nights, we do a show called Flippin' and Sippin' where we sell some items, play some games, and just have a lot of fun, like celebrating the weekend.
Right after Jeffrey.
Also, tomorrow night, we're going to be on Katie's channel, Vintage and Vinyl. We're going to be joining her, and I'm going to be doing like a deep dive on my swung vase collection. So I'm excited about that. Oh. And then you'll want to mark your calendars for November 16th. We're having like a big proper sale with Pirate Chicks Vintage, who has a Instagram presence. So they have lots of really cool stuff, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, they'll be our guest on our channel for a sale.
Yeah.
And Mary Beth has made these beautiful shirts.
Yay!
Those available.
Those are linked on our Instagram page.
Perfect.
And I think that's it.
And my next sale with Yvonne is going to be a week from tomorrow, November 10th. So we will be I think we're doing everything again. I have to start finding stuff. I forgot. I have to start looking for stuff for my live sale. This is going to be hard because normally I source for my live sales. So I'm going to have to source from my boxes for my live sale. This might get interesting, people. Might get interesting. Julian is coming up on 10,000 subscribers, I saw. So if you guys aren't subscribed to him, definitely subscribe to him. I appreciate all of you guys watching. We will, let me look. Hold on. Let me see who's on next week. I never look. I really should look at who's on the next week. I'm going to look. Hold on. And then we'll go. Let's see. Brick Bucks and Sunflower Flipper, it looks like, are next week. And then the week after is supposed to be Selena, Vintage Bombshell again. So we will have,
cool.
yes, we will have Selena on again. Yes, November 10th, me and Yvonne, we will see you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.